Hello everybody, AJ Ryzik here, and today we are looking at Lubuntu 15.04. Now originally I was not going to review Lubuntu 15.04 just from the standpoint that there's really nothing new since the previous version or even from back in 14.04. There's general bug fixes, that sort of thing, but no real features or anything like that. And actually there's good reason for it. They have been working on the porting from LXDE, which is the current desktop environment, over to LXQT, which is probably the simple, easiest way to think of it, whereas LXDE uses the GTK toolkit, the LXQT uses the QT toolkit. It will allow I guess the easiest way to think of it is that it'll allow for some easier development as they try to develop more applications, more tools, that sort of thing. But anyway, they've been really working hard on getting that porting done, and everything I've been reading says that they are on schedule for making LXQT available in 15.10. So that's this coming October. So I'll be looking forward to seeing that, because I've played around with LXQT on some other desktop environments or other operating systems. Really like that for a lightweight desktop environment. I think it's got a lot of potential. But anyway, so we're looking at Lubuntu 15.04 today, and you've probably seen some of my reviews of previous versions of Lubuntu. So for those of you that have seen those, a lot of this is going to be repeated because, like I said, there's not a lot of new features. But I did want to make this video one for the new users out there who may not have seen those videos. And it's always nice to have a fresh look at an operating system. So anyway, let's get started. And I've got the Lubuntu homepage open right here, and it talks a little bit about what Lubuntu is all about. And you see it says Lubuntu's fast and lightweight operating system. Core of the system is Linux and Ubuntu. Lubuntu uses the minimal desktop environment LXDE and a selection of light applications. They're focusing on speed and energy efficiency. And kind of scrolling down here at system requirements, looking at on memory, for advanced internet services like Google Plus, YouTube, Google Docs, Facebook, you want to have at least 1 gig of RAM. For your native applications, they're wanting you to have at least a half a gig. So those kind of specs are not hard to come by these days, so that's fairly easy. And then on the processor end of thing, minimum spec is a Pentium 4, Pentium M, or AMD K8. Considering that 10 years ago you could already get a Core 2 Duo processor, you got to have a fairly old computer to not be able to meet those requirements. So fairly lightweight here, and I've been running this on my laptop, which it is Core 2 Duo, and then of course also on my desktop, and both computers, this operating system literally flies. And I've had it on my daughter's laptop for a while, which is an older Dell. It's the I think it's the D610 that she's got, and single core processor. no trouble running anything on it. You know, it's not buggy or slow or anything like that. So, you know, if you got some older hardware, this is awesome for it. And even if you don't have an older piece of hardware and just want something that's very light on the memory, light on the CPU, so that, you know, the operating system can get out of the way, so your system resources are reserved for your applications. This is a good option to go with. So let's start by taking a look at the desktop itself. We've got our default wallpaper here. Changing it, fairly simple. Do a right click, go to desktop preferences, and you can see right here where it says wallpaper. They've got, yeah, not a huge number of wallpapers. They've got a few there. Of course, you can go and add some of your own. Let's go with that. That's pretty cool looking. And then while you're in this desktop preferences, you can go and change font and label text, color of that kind of thing. Do you want desktop icons or not? Personally, I want a perfectly clean desktop, so I always uncheck all this kind of stuff. And then here we go, show menus provided by window managers when desktop is clicked. So you can go and set that, and now when you right click there, you will see a regular drop down type menu. I guess, you know, a lot of people, you know, especially if you're used to working with just plain window managers and are used to doing the right click to go right to your menus, you know, that's probably a preference for them. Me, I'd rather, you know, that's not my thing. Anyway, so we got one bottom panel, and we've got our menu right here in simple drop down style, categorized, very simple, easy to use. My only one gripe is, you know, I've gotten so used to running the Gnome desktop environment, and then also in XFCE you can do the same thing with the whisker menu, being able to hit the Windows key and do a keyboard search for whatever it is I'm looking for. You don't really have that with this type of menu. You kind of got to, you know, scroll along and find what you want. Luckily, since it's categorized, it's not too hard to find what you're looking for. So anyway, so we've got that. We've got a quick launch for our file manager, and a quick launch for our web browser, and for all of your open windows, if you click this button right here, it'll minimize everything to the panel. So nice way to, you know, if you need to clear the desktop quickly, click that guy right there. And then of course right here you will see all of your currently open windows. And then over on this side we've got our volume control, keyboard indicator, internet indicator. This little red dot, that's from my simple screen recorder, which is what I use for recording my video. It's just an indicator for that. And then of course we got our time/calendar, in which, because I'm set up on dual monitors, when I click it, it's kind of bleeding over into the second monitor. I'm assuming that you wouldn't see that if we were on a single monitor. And then of course our power button right there. And as far as working with the panels in Lubuntu, fairly easy to work with. Just right click the panel. If you want to add something to it or remove something, you got to add remove dialog box here, and you know, from here you can go and add remove stuff. And there's some appearance settings for the panel itself. You can do a custom font size if you like. For those of us that don't have young eyes anymore, that might be useful. Where do you want the panel? You know, personally, I'm always I like it up at the top, but you know, if you want to go over to the side, you can do that. Keep it at the bottom. and then of course alignment, that sort of thing. Well, let's go and put it up at the top because that's where I like it. And then you can set some preferred applications here, and a couple other things right in here. Make Window Manager treat the panel as a dock. I mentioned that PC Man FM is the file manager here, and you know, really like this file manager. First of all, it's got my favorite feature, and that is, wait for it, dual pane mode. And you know, and why, you know, so many file managers, they don't have a dual pane feature. And you know, like in the case of Gnome files, used to be called Nodless. They used to have that feature and then stripped it out, and you know, taking something like this away, it just doesn't make any sense to me. You know, if you want to move files around, like let's come here to my video files, and let's say that I wanted to move one over to my documents file. You know, it's a simple boom, you're done. That's it. I mean, you know, why would you take away that feature? It just doesn't make any sense. But like I said, it's got dual pane feature. You've got you got some quick, I guess you call them quick launches or bookmarks over here. You can add bookmarks just by using the, you know, the add bookmarks dialog, and I think you can right click on stuff to add bookmarks as well. Yeah, you right click and then there's an add bookmark right there. And then you can see you've got a fair number of options with the right click menu anyway. And then you can also open in a new tab. So you've got a tab mode as well as the dual pane. You can open a new window, open a terminal at that specific file location. You know, just basically just about everything that a person could want in a you know, in a file manager you've got here, and you know, it's still a lightweight application. So I really like that feature. So let's take a look at what applications we've got here. So looking up here at the menu, we've got our archive manager, character map, GNOME disk, our file manager, G-calculator, image viewer, LeafPad, which is a lightweight text editor, and XPad is essentially a note taker, I guess is the best way to consider it. They're like, if you look through the little description you got here, pads are basically sticky notes on your desktop which you can write memos. So nice for you know, if you need to put a little reminder up or that sort of thing. Anyway, okay, so we got through that. Under graphics, we got our document viewer, MPaint graphic editor, and our scanning tool. For our web browser, we have Firefox. Now, you know, I'm not going to complain about Firefox. Firefox is not a bad web browser in any means. It's probably one of the most versatile out there. It's definitely one of the most popular. Probably top tier for popularity is tied between Firefox and Chrome. You know, maybe one's a little higher than the other, but those are the two top dogs. But you know, if you're trying to have a lightweight distribution, personally, you know, Firefox is not the lightest. You know, if you've seen some of my recent lightweight browser videos, there's a bunch out there that are lighter weight than Firefox. So, you know, maybe Midori would have been a better option, or you know, there's others, but you know, Firefox, when I was doing my tests, Firefox uses about 100 megs of RAM with just one window open. Midori, I think, was down around 40 or so. So I mean, much lighter. So kind of scratching my head why that one was picked if you're trying to go for lightweight applications. For our email, we've got SIFLead, which if you're not familiar with SIFLead, very lightweight. However, you do need to know all of your email settings when you set this up. It's not like Thunderbird or what am I trying to think of? Geary, where you can put in your email and password and boom, you're done, set up, ready to go. You need to know your server names, what port, security, all that kind of stuff. However, once set up, very nice program. Let me go and open it up here. I've got it set up for triple pane view. You can do the horizontal panes if you like. Either way will work for you. Depending on what your preferences are. For the most part, you got all of your basic email needs here. If personally, like I said, it's not a bad program. It's got most of your bases covered. Personally, though, when it comes to lightweight email programs, my preference is Geary, and I've reviewed Geary a few times in the past. So I'll throw up some links on down in the video description so you can find those if you want to take a look at those. Anyway, okay, so we're there, and then transmission for BitTorrent. Under Office, we've got AbiWord for writing, Gnome for spreadsheets, and then our document viewer. For most people, that will probably cover it. AbiWord is a great word processor, not quite as feature-filled as, say, LibreOffice or Kingsoft Office or Microsoft Office, any of those. But still, it is a pretty nice word processor in its own. Gnome, it's pretty good for doing basic spreadsheets. If you need something a little more advanced, swap those out and go with LibreOffice. It is heavier, uses more resources, but a lot more features. And then we've got our terminals here down in the other section, and sound and video. We've got Audacious for our music, Brasero for burning CDs, Cheese, and then also Simple Screen Recorder. I added those for just for doing my my screencasting here. We've got Gnome M Player for doing for reading our media. I did try to install GUVC Video and it kept crashing on me. So and I don't think that's a Lubuntu problem. I think it goes back to Ubuntu, that the latest version of GUVC Video is not playing nice with the Ubuntu code. So not really the Lubuntu team's fault. And then we've also got XFburn for CD and DVD burning. So why we've got both that and Brasero, I'm not exactly sure. System tools. In this section, we've got mostly, I guess you can consider it configuration stuff. Same thing with the preferences category here. So in here, of course, got another link for our file manager. We've got the GDebi package installer. Love that. If you've got to download, if you're going to download Debian packages and install those, and those are files that end in .deb. I much prefer this than to using the software centers to install. Rather than the standard Ubuntu Software Center, we have the Lubuntu Software Center, which, let me open it up here, I found to work much better than the Ubuntu Software Center. It doesn't freeze up, the glitches, all that kind of stuff. The one thing I have noticed is there's a little bit of a lag. Like here we are in games. No, it's not too bad there. Sometimes I've noticed a little bit of a lag while you're waiting for it to pull up the description of something. But you can go through this software center, and let's say we wanted to go and and install this, you'd come here and click add to the app basket and continue surfing through here, find all the software you want to add, and then when you're all finished, go to the app basket. It'll list everything that it wants to add. You can either discard or install, and boom, you're on your way. Much easier to work with in the Ubuntu Software Center. Now, we do also have Synaptic Package Manager, which is my preferred method for installing software. Go either way. But like I said, Lubuntu Software Center much better than the Ubuntu Software Center. We got our terminal listed again, networking, setting up our printers, our software updater, our startup disk creator. And then we got a couple of system monitors there, time and date, users and groups. If we come down here to preferences, we can add some drivers, Bluetooth management, and then customize. I'll come back to this one in a minute. Customize the look and feel, and our default applications, desktop preferences, which we already looked at. Managing our drives with the disk application there, setting up the keyboard and mouse, language support, our locker settings, monitor settings, settings, all that kind of stuff. Open box configuration, power manager, software and updates. Let me come back to this customized look and feel. So here's where you can go and change your various themes. You can change your font here. So you can go with that Mist theme if you like, the Raleigh, Redmond. Personally, I think the default is just fine, but you kind of get the idea there. And then you can customize the colors used. Choose a different icon theme or install more icon themes from here. I'm perfectly happy with what it's got. Change our cursor theme, change the window borders, if you want to go with something like that, and then you would just click apply and you get it, boom. And fonts, do you want anti-aliasing, do you want to enable hint? Wow, I just cannot talk today. Enable the hinting, the subpixel geometry, that kind of stuff. And then some GUI options here at the end. Well, that kind of covers all the applications. Now, just some general overall thoughts about the distribution. I haven't really run into bugs, glitches, that kind of thing. Everything is quick and snappy, and that is one of the things that I really like about this distribution when it comes to running it on anything, really any computer that's, say, 7-8 years old or newer. Everything is super snappy because it is just so light on the resources. And look, come over here, boom, just click something and it almost instantly opens up. There's no lag or anything like that, so I really like that. I mean, just here, let me go and open up the let me find it here. Come down here to Task Manager so we can see what kind of system resources I'm pulling down here. Okay, so I am using 780 on average megabytes of RAM, and that is with screen recorder, the webcam, a couple other applications running. Baseline, I was kind of checking baseline earlier before I started the video, and it was what, like 150 megs of RAM I was using for my baseline. So I mean, this memory usage right here, Ubuntu Unity uses that amount at idle with no applications running. So you can see how lightweight we are. But anyway, since the system requires so little resources, when you do have a well spec'd out computer, man, the applications just fly. So I really love this distribution from that standpoint. My only real complaints is I'm such a keyboard driven person that I like to launch my applications with the keyboard. So you know if I was going to use this, I would want to go and add, say something like Synapse or Gnome do, one of those keyboard launchers, so that I could work from the keyboard's perspective. Because like I said, I've become so accustomed to that workflow that I like the fact that I can be typing away and I don't have to take my hands off the keyboard to launch another application or to change windows or anything like that. So, but I mean, that's just me. There's a lot of people that are mouse and menu driven, and this would work out great for them. Anyway, I think that about finishes up this review. Let me know if you got any questions, comments, all that kind of stuff. Leave them down below. As always, if you enjoyed the video, give us a big old thumbs up. And if you are not a subscriber, please subscribe. And I will catch you all on the next video. Thanks a lot.